Hello, my name is Rap. This is my new video about Warframe. Before I start, I'm going to do. We already have update 15. I'm going to do a Archwing mission, but before I start, I'm going for the ones who saw the Kubro video and my last one when I already got my Urus Lotus, but now I'm going to explain why I always look. This is in these colors, but it was done by me. In my videos I was talking that I always look for a first imprint that have black in these colors when mixing with the Lotus, and I'm going to explain why. I use it. I don't have the print now, but it was a Horus like this, but all brown and gray, and didn't have black, and mixed with that Sunica female that in my last video of excavation ended up with a Lotus, a Horus Lotus of these colors, because well, it didn't have black, so it is brown, gray. You barely see the Lotus, and you only see the Lotus if you apply the color pack, because well, to me it doesn't make any difference, because I'm not going to sell these prints, and I don't have problems. This one is just like the Sunica, only the Sunica is the true color, the default colors, and this one is made by me. I can still change the color if I want them not to be all the same, but something that I really advise is never use the first imprint with all bright colors, because you may end up with the Lotus, yes, but with the Lotus with all bright colors that you have to use the color pack if you want to see the traces clearly. I even saw some situation about someone selling Urus imprints like those, and the guy was buying it, didn't believe it was a Lotus. I know it was a Lotus because I have someone. My first Sahasha was this way, so I can see they are Lotus, but the people trying to sell them, usually the people buying have lots of difficulty. If they don't have a Lotus, they have lots of difficulty to see if it is a Lotus or. Okay, let's go to the mission. I'm going to this doesn't matter because it is a Archwing mission. Well, I don't have much mods, and I only have energy inversion for shield and armor, argon plating for armor. I'm finding very hard to find mods. Again, this is based on luck. I already have Corvus, but I'm working on Imperator first. So I already picked electrified barrel that I was after lots of time. I picked this one, Venomous Clip, very early, but this one was being hard to get, so now I have already corrosive, but only have more magazine and critical chance. I already have combustion rounds. I find these mods more easy than the Archwing mods to find, but even more easy are the Malek, a very Tux weapon. I find this weapon very interesting. Still didn't try the Onorix, but this one, the Veritux, I'm finding very interesting. Like you can see, I already have one forma in Imperator and already one forma in Veritux, so So here I already picked the melee damage, the 4 for attack speed, but only have electricity damage because I'm using Glacier Edge. I didn't find poisonous sting. Something that I want to say before I start the mission, and I think it's important. I want to thank DA because, well, they still managed to find a way not to mess with our frames much, and they refunded me 32 format even when they only affected 1 or 2 frames. I only got affected by 2 frames, and I got surprised because they still refunded me the 32 because the what I have above that I already had, and I think I got very surprised. I know they were going to refund the format, and I was expecting the format affected by those changes, but that may also mean because I changed slots, I use swap polarities a lot, but if I evaluate things fairly, they did refunded me more format that it was supposed to be, and I think I'm not the only one because I have some friends that they also did that. So I think, and we are do all the same. We form all the things, being weapons, frames, doesn't matter. I only got affected by 2 frames, that is Necro and Nyx Prime, because it was the only frames that were built around one ability, and the fact they removed 2 slots, they are the only ones affected. But well, I only needed to do some changes, nothing too serious. That's why when I participate in that thread, I always said that I was waiting for them to decide, and then I was going to say what I wanted to say, because we usually tend to make things look a disaster, and they always find a way to do things without hurting too much the players, and uh, that was was what happened this time. So I think they deserve our thanks because, well, I only had to restructure only 2 frames. I could had to restructure 22 or 23 or whatever, but I only had to do that in 2 or 3 frames, which I find it was very bearable and no issue whatsoever. So okay, this is the Interception. It works pretty much like the one without Archwing. Uh, it's a matter of get used. I use the same way in this. I go to a point and start capturing points, and then stay at the last point captured. I'm not going to move around. Like, this is the only difference between. Well, I think I'm going to start this. This is the only thing I work differently from the Interception on the normal game. In the normal game I am always moving. In this one I'm not moving, and I'm going to explain why. Because it is more easy for you to control the battlefield alone without moving too much, because most of the time the EA will go into attack your position, and if you are moving you are breaking the enemies in 2 and 3, and they will going to capture different points at the same time. It's more easy for you to lose control of the situation, mostly because you are alone. It's not a difficult concept. Well, at first I start to play like I play the other ones, but I soon realized that that wasn't the best approach to do this alone, and to be able to do at least, and I'm going to go only until round 4, that is what people need to get the weapon parts for Onyx and Corvus, so anything above that, it's more personal than any other thing. So, and I also don't want to make it too much extended video, just like the other ones. It's mostly because I do give importance what people sometimes say to me, and it's more bearable to see and don't lose the purpose or the meaning of what you are making. I remember that I did one video that it was the old void defense mission that it took 1 hour and 10 minutes, but if it was right now I didn't have make that video so extensive, but well, I do appreciate some feedback people say to me, and I don't want to lose the focus of things, so it's just to give an impression. And right now in this interception what you really need is do 4 rounds to get the parts. If you are a player able to go above, good. We have different purpose, but I will do that if I'm playing alone and without making a video, because I still didn't try where I can reach, but the most that I went it was wave 6, but I leave it because I had to go, so I couldn't go further, but I will have to try that. I always do that. For instance, in Interception, in normal missions, the most I can go, at least alone, is around 11, because, well, at that point enemies become doing a lot of damage, and alone it's difficult to control the number of enemies the game spawn at you in game. I'm sure that in a party I could go a little further. Okay, they are catching point. I use melee a lot. Melee is very good to control this kind of situations where you have lots of enemies. It's better than your rifle, because your rifle don't prevent you from taking damage, and melee is so quick. If you have the footer mod, even more quicker, that the damage they do to you is minimal. I hope that we get some enemies stuck in a rock, because I wanted to show something that is a way to kill an unreachable enemy in a rock. It's an orthodox way to kill him, but you have to die one time, but at least you don't have to abort, and that is the good thing about it, is that we don't have to abort the game and lose everything.
You are surrounded by Indian Marines.
Okay, we're going to start. Now I'm going to hay. See. Sometimes I mess with the positions of them, but this is normal. I'm still getting used to this Archwing thing. I find it interesting because it is a different mode in the same game I like to play. So to make things a little different, you can vary between this mode and the normal mode, and you get a pretty different game, even that you are using the same frame that you use in the normal Warframe, but you get two games in one game, which I find it's very good. And I was saying to my friend, I already tried to stop playing Warframe, but it's very hard because the devs are always throwing new things, and the experience is changing all the time, and it's an absurd. I look at my gaming time, and it's an absurd because I never played a game so much time like I play with Warframe, and it's always a different experience from time to time. Sure that I'm a farmer for natures. I like to farm. Now I have all the primes, but I like to farm, sell sets, sell mods. Even the trading is another game inside Warframe, something that I like to do, especially when I'm at work, because when I'm at work it's more hard to play actual gameplay, because sometimes I'm called to do something, and playing even in solo it's annoying to pause the game and go do whatever you have to do, and sometimes you take 1 hour, 2 hours, doesn't matter. So the trading is kind of a game inside Warframe that is also a thing that I like to do. So Warframe does have a lot of vertents inside the actual game, and that is something very unique because, well, I have lots of games even in my Steam or Origin or whatever. Thank God I work for a few years, so I'm a person that besides my responsibilities, I always have a few money that I reserve to buy whether 1, 2, 3 games, doesn't matter which games. Can't be not all months are that way, because sometimes I don't have anything that I really want to buy. So also my son is also a gamer, which is good because even that I don't play, he plays, so it's good for all, and it's fun when we are in synchrony with our own. So it's kind of interesting, and I really admire the work DA did in these years. Warframe changed a lot. Some things are really better. Others, well, could be better, but perfection doesn't exist. And the good thing that I like in them is they are always willing to make things better. Sometimes we have the feeling that they don't, but they are. Some things can't be changed only to please a few, so we have to be able to understand that. Because, to be honest, this game doesn't survive so much long because of the veterans. Veterans had their part with the Founders program. But if we look, many games had founder programs and don't exist anymore nowadays. So we did our part, but this game survived because of the new players that somehow invest in the game, and they are the real reason Warframe is still alive after this time. So the devs can do things around the old days. They can and should try to please both sides. unfortunately some people miss that. So, but this is just like many games. Well, returning to the gameplay, well, I still don't use much my abilities as you are seeing, because I'm still trying to understand the best utility for each. The most I use is this one, and this one I'm going to use now only to show is this one. It's very useful for crowd control, so if you are overrun by enemies and you don't want to go melee, it is a good solution is to use your rockets. Even that it doesn't kill all, it kills most of them, and you can deal with the others next. One thing I usually do is now I'm gonna keep this tower, but I'm going to stay here. I'm not going to move around. This is what I do different from the other interceptions. I never move. I only move or to go cap a point that the enemy was capped, or to observe the battlefield and see the movement of the EA. But I never leave the last point I cap it. It's mostly first to don't broke the EA, because it's very easy to broke the EA when we are playing alone, and you may end up the EA capping 2 points at the same time, which make the job for a solo player very hard. So I usually try to stay at 1 point and only move when they decide to move. As you are seeing, they are all converging to my position. They are not even trying to cap other points. They are wanting to come to my position, which make my job more easy. Now I'm going to move to B. Oh no, I'm not going to move to B because it ended, but if it had continued, I was going to move to B, to cap B, and I would stay there. Well, I did try both ways. I did try moving, and I did try staying in one position, and I found it more easy to play this way. Of course, each one, there are people that doesn't like to be stationary or in the same place, even that moving like this. Well, each one play at their own way. I found it more easy to play this way. Let the enemy move, make their move, and then I move accordingly, which the EA decided to do. Okay, this will be the last round. This is what you need to do to get the Corvus or Honorix parts. So it's not hard. It's more you just need to find your way to organize your game, and then follow it accordingly. It's not a big deal. One thing that I find, and this especially on later missions, I find it more hard to play in some teams than alone. It's mostly because, well, sometimes people play differently, and we not always have, for instance, we are 4 players, let's decide to each one keep a tower, and a game would be easy if it was that way, but well, sometimes people want to go after the enemy. For them, they are always after the enemy, so if the enemy is there, they go there. If the enemy is there, they go there. And sometimes the game is more hard than it's meant to be. I found more hard games in a party of 4 players than the games that I do alone. And it shouldn't be that way, because alone there should always be more hard than 4 players, no matter which mode, which game. When in a coup game, when you play solo, it's always more hard than 4 players, or it should be. When it's more easy to play solo than in a party, then something is really wrong. Well, this last round it didn't spawn enemies. Well, I'm going to move to see if the game spawn enemies, because I think sometimes this happens in between rounds. This is mostly because I stopped, and I don't know, I think the game blocks and doesn't send enemies, so I have to move for them to send enemies again. I like this sequence of melee is just outstanding, and when you have lots of enemies, it's just great. It was a very interesting time. Okay, it's done. Well, I could have ended this round without enemies, but I don't like that kind. I usually stay in one point to keep my job easy, but I don't like when the game bugs out and don't spawn enemies. If you encounter a round where the game doesn't spawn enemies, you just need to move a little and the game starts spawn enemies. I think I don't know how the EA is scripted, but they simply bug out and doesn't spawn enemies, but if you move a little from one point to the other, the game starts to spawn enemies again and you continue to play with no problem. The only problem I see with this is the absence of mods. They almost don't drop mods. Okay, it's done. It's all for this video. This is what you need to do to get the parts for Corvus or Honorix. And even that you are the random numbers, it's good because I got a different part each time I went into round 4, so I can't complain. Right now I'm already I only built it, I only bought the blueprints only to see which parts I have to help a friend or someone, doesn't only to see, because if you don't have the blueprints you can't see the parts you have only in components, but it's more time consuming that way, so money isn't a problem, so by the blueprints it's more easy to control the parts I have. Okay, it's all for this video. Thanks for watching. Until the next video. In my next video, I'm thinking in make the limbo mission, because I still didn't did the mission, because well, I can only do the mission one time, so I decided to keep it to make a video from it. But something I didn't said, but I had to drop the to 360p in this video. I ask sorry for that, because well, I don't have my first computer. I'm using my spare one, and the game is very unstable, so I had to make a few tweaks, and I had to drop the quality of the video. It's only this one, and I think the limbo one, and then we'll return to normal, because I already have the other computer. So okay, it's all for this video. Thanks for watching. Until the next video, see you around.